Tottenham Hotspur 3, West Ham 0. Another clean sheet for Tottenham under Thomas Frank and another win, making it 3 wins out of 4. 9 points so far, which is a very good start to the season from Tottenham. And we're seeing obvious improvements in their defending, the defensive structure, their set pieces. And I think all round it was a pretty good performance from Tottenham. It was a debut today for Xavi Simons, who was played off the left rather than in his best position, but he showed glimpses and got an assist. Bergvall got back into the starting 11 and showed exactly why he should have played versus Bournemouth and exactly why he was Tottenham's player of the season last year. Sarr continues his great form under Thomas Frank. Van der Ven pops up with a goal. Thank you for the FPL points. But you know what? Romero, I did a video last week talking about Romero being one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. In fact, I was speaking about underrated Premier League players. It was Elliot Anderson, it was Romero, it was Sandro Tonali, and all of them have just been praised this week because they've all put in really good performances. Anderson for England, Romero today for Tottenham. That passing ability is crazy. So in today's video, we're going to break down what we learned from Tottenham 3, West Ham 0. Let me know your thoughts down below. But look, Bergvall's man of the match, but Romero's close. So let's get the notes up on the screen. So I think the first half from Tottenham was all right. I think they were the better team. I think they looked very dangerous from set pieces. And I think Romero's goal absolutely should have stood in the first half. I think that was a little bit of a silly call. But I think it was the second half where Tottenham showed their dominance. I think obviously Tottenham going 1-0 up, West Ham have to be more attacking, leave more space in behind. There's more gaps for Tottenham to attack. It works in their favour. When Tottenham went 1-0 down versus Bournemouth and had to break down a low block, they struggle. When Tottenham go 1-0 up, they play better. You look at Manchester City, as soon as they went 1-0 up, they played better. You look at Burnley, as soon as they went 1-0 up, they played better. That is something that Tottenham may need to work on. I think had they signed a left winger and put Xavi Simons in his best role centrally, that would help. But Tottenham were very good in that second half. They were playing the ball around very nicely. I thought Bergvall and Sarr were really getting high, pressing high, finding space between the lines and causing so many issues for West Ham, and the movement and the patterns were good. Van der Ven and Romero were getting high at the pitch. Romero with his passing was taking out like three or four players of his passing, like taking out the whole midfield line with his passing. It was unbelievable. And it was a very good performance from Tottenham, a very well drilled and organised performance from Tottenham. Xavi Simons getting a debut assist, having a few nice touches. Kudus, unlucky not to get a goal, was absolutely class. I'm really annoyed because I took Minter out my FPL this morning for Kudus. And of course, Minter gets a goal contribution and Kudus doesn't. I was really hoping Kudus would score for the FPL. But yeah, very, very good performance from Tottenham. So let's talk about Bergvall. It's crazy to think that Bergvall was Tottenham's best player last season, or the back end of last season. I think Kulusevski started as Tottenham's best player last season, then dropped off a bit, and then Bergvall ended up being Tottenham's best player last season. I think he won player of the season, or at least a young player of the season for Tottenham. And he was incredible. And just because he's not played as much this season, he's easing back into things because people forget that he got injured the back end of last season. So maybe that's why he's not starting right where he's been. He's back into things. I think a lot of people have just slept on Bergvall or forgot about Bergvall. You know, I remember seeing tweets like 2 weeks ago because Bergvall wasn't playing, of some Tottenham fans scared that Bergvall wasn't going to do it under Thomas Frank. And it's like crazy. You're like, this kid has just come back from injury. He's 19 years of age. You saw how good he was for you last season. And then people were just like not putting Bergvall's name and mentions for Tottenham's best midfield free and stuff. And it's crazy because for me, I think Bergvall is Tottenham's best midfielder. I think there's certain games where you want Palhinha, there's certain games where you want Bentancur, but I think Palhinha, Bergvall, Sarr as a midfield free is unbelievable. I'd probably swap Sarr for Xavi Simons because I think Xavi Simons is better in the middle, which would feel unfair to Sarr on his form right now. But Bergvall's a phenomenal player, and I feel like people just forgot about that for a little bit. Like, I think Bergvall, look, I didn't watch a lot of the Bournemouth game. I was told it's not worth watching, but I think Bergvall was clearly a miss. He got a goal today, and what a fantastic first goal in the Premier League. What a fantastic header. His runs, his movement was really good. I thought Bergvall might play deeper to help him build up because I still think Palhinha is very good off the ball, but it has limitations in build up. But I think when you have a centre-back as good as Romero in build up, I guess that gives Bergvall the licence to be further up. Romero is Tottenham's best player in build up by a long way, which is why I do think Tottenham needs to go all out for an Adam Wharton-type player next summer. But he got a really good goal. He got an assist, whether he meant that or not, who cares? He got a goal and assist. He's the second youngest Tottenham player to do that in the Premier League. But it was the box runs, the performances, the pressing, the attacking runs, the passes. He was everywhere, recovering the ball, winning back the ball. When the opposition had the ball, he doesn't let them breathe, and he's moving the ball quickly. And because he's got that technical ability, because he's got that dynamism to move the ball quickly, he was causing the opposition a lot of problems. He got, got the assist, got the goal. He was having the movement. It wasn't just a goal and assist. He was everywhere today. He was man of the match outside of his goal contributions, the passing, the creativity. He was too much for West Ham to handle. And I felt the energy of Bergvall and Sarr and the movement, West Ham couldn't keep up with that. And I think when Tottenham had that 15-20 minute spell where they were just all over West Ham and on top of them, those two players were absolutely key to that. And another player that's absolutely key and deserves more credit is Romero. Romero is a passing monster. As a progressive passer, as somebody that can break the lines, he is phenomenal. He is outstanding on and off the ball. He won his duels. He's good physically. He's good in the air. But it's on the ball. Like, the assist was phenomenal today. But there was a couple of times where he made passes that took out the whole of West Ham's midfield and found Tottenham's attacking line. His line-breaking passes, taking out whole midfield, is special. Van der Ven is incredible off the ball. Van der Ven can defend such large spaces. He's so fast. He can deal with such a difficult kind of player. Romero is elite on the ball. Tottenham have an elite centre-back pairing in Van der Ven and Romero, which is why when those two players are fit, Tottenham's record and points record under Ange, when those two was fit, was like Premier League title race ready level. But obviously they got injured and it massively dropped off. I'm not saying that had they stayed fit the whole season, Tottenham would have been a title race. That'd be crazy to say that. But when these two are fit, their points per game is like title race form. When they play together, when they're fit. Like Romero and Van der Ven such a good pairing because Van der Ven can go out wide, defend the wide channels, deal with fast players, defend large space. Romero can also do that, but Romero is phenomenal on the ball. He's a little bit better in the air than Van der Ven, and they complement each other so well. Romero just outstanding on the ball. Outstanding on the ball. His passes, his everything is elite. Romero is Tottenham's best player in build-up, Tottenham's best player at breaking down teams, at breaking the lines. And look, you probably want a midfielder to do that, but he's a very special player. He's very underrated. I see people call Romero a red card merchant, and I think they don't realise that Romero brings so much more than that. Now it's time to talk about that Xavi Simons debut. 1 goal, 1 big chance created, 4 out of 4 long balls, 3 out of 3 duels won. How would I describe Xavi Simons' debut? Solid. Nothing special, nothing like wow. It was solid. He got an assist when he got the ball. He had a few moments where he showed his quality. Did he get as involved as he could have done? No. Was he setting the world alight? No. But was it a good, solid debut? Yes. You've got to remember that Xavi Simons was played out of position on the left. Xavi Simons' best work at Leipzig was in the central roles where he could play the ball onto the player on the left in the transition. If Tottenham had Semenyo and were having good transitions and Xavi Simons was in the 10, you will see the best of Xavi Simons. And I think Xavi Simons will eventually go in the 10. I think he's just playing on the left for now. And maybe that's Tottenham's fault for not bringing in the left winger, because if Xavi Simons is coming in as your answer to a left winger, that's not the best way to use Xavi Simons. But he played on the left, but when he drifted in centrally to link play, he was good. There was a moment where he passed the ball, but no one was there on the left because he maybe forgot he was the left winger. He showed flashes with his touches. I think he played a nice ball that Tel couldn't quite get to. He looked in sync with Bergvall and Sarr in terms of the movements, the little patterns of play. He just needs a left wing to make runs for him. He's got a little bit of Bruno Fernandes in him, Xavi Simons. He's better centrally. He needs players out wide to make runs for him. Needs players to make runs for him. But he's a very creative player, and he will be a good signing for Spurs. And it's just mad to think that he plays for Spurs and that he's in a Spurs shirt. Like, it's crazy. I never thought Spurs would put it off. Obviously, we've got to look at Sarr. I mean, the amount of money you spent on Bergvall and Sarr was about 30 million for the both of them, and both of them right now are comfortably 50 million plus players. You can argue 100 million in the way the market has been recently. And Sarr was phenomenal again today. He's a box-to-box engine, but he's now adding goals. 47 out of 54 passes, 6 into the final third, 5 ball recoveries. Sarr is an absolute engine, and for £15 million, it's looking like one of the best bits of business Tottenham have done. Like, he's everywhere. He'll pick up the ball, he'll press, he'll be a nuisance, he'll make runs, he'll, win the ball back. He's everywhere. He's a manager's dream. He works so hard. He's pressing. He's a monster. His movement. But he's good on the ball. He's good at taking the ball and carrying it. He's good at winning back the ball, taking the ball, carrying it, and popping up and making those box runs to get those goals late. He's adding goals to his game. His movement is good. We know his ball carrying is good. We know that he can make sort of overlapping runs. I mean, he's been phenomenal lately, Sarr. And I think him and Bergvall was just too much for West Ham to handle. I want to give a shout out to Kudus, who completed the most dribbles 3 and created the most chances 2 today of any player. He was very brave on the ball. He was getting booed a lot, but every time he got the ball, he was driving forward constantly, asking questions of the defenders, not giving the ball away, making things happen. And I think he's just an unpredictable player. What Kudus brings is unpredictability. He can pass it, he can dribble with it, he can take on people. He created 2 chances today, completed 3 dribbles. You know there's unpredictability there. You know you've got someone in Kudus that wants to make things happen. And I think despite not getting a goal or assist, he had a very good game. But yeah, I wanted to talk about my final notes on Tottenham and on the game. My notes in regards to Tottenham and on the game is pretty much that Van der Ven scored and was fantastic, and Van der Ven and Romero as a pairing is an absolute joke of a pairing. It's so good. You know, Romero on the ball, Van der Ven off the ball. It's a phenomenal pairing. And if those two stay fit, Thomas Frank's going to have a very good season. I think the fullbacks are starting to push up higher under Frank. The centre-backs are providing more security. We're seeing signs of that. But we see Tottenham right now. They've improved at set pieces. They look better going forward. Once they go 1-0 up, they play better. It's interesting to see how they respond in another game after going 1-0 down, because they struggled when that happened versus Bournemouth. But they're still building chemistry. These players are still playing together for the first time, and they grew into the game and they improved in the game. And I think there's a lot of positive signs from Tottenham and Thomas Frank. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.